What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and in today's video I want to be talking about all these crazy stocks that are going wild because we had multiple 200% runners, 300% runners today. It was absolutely crazy. TSNP was taken off. MITI had a little bit of a pullback, so I'll talk about that. And in general, it's just wild. There's like probably 10 to 15 stocks that you guys need to be watching tomorrow because there are so many that are going absolutely bananas. Go watch my previous video about Dan Bilzerian stock if you haven't already. I'm going to mention that a little bit in this video, but I'm not planning on talking about it too much just because I made a whole video about it. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this intro. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. You know how we do it. Let's get in my charts. All right, guys, so I'm here on my computer. There's a ton of stocks to get through, so I'm going to try to do it pretty quickly. Please bear with me. If you have any questions or I wasn't super clear about something, feel free to drop a comment down below. So Netflix, if you guys are into big stocks, this one just passed 200 million subscribers for the first time ever, and had a big spike after hours and is kind of, leveling off here. In my opinion, this is not one I would touch because there's a lot of institutional traders on this. There's a lot of algorithmic trading. This is a huge stock, obviously $500 stock. I don't really trade this stock, but if you want to trade stocks like this, the easy way to get more volatility is by trading options, because if you buy calls, they can go up 100% on a move like this that only went up 10% like after hours. So just keep that in mind, but I will not be touching this one. Also, I have my watch list on this computer because it was weird, it wasn't syncing. All right, it finally loaded. So I'm here at BLSP, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is a OTC pink sheet stock, which means that I'm not allowed to buy it on Fidelity unless some of you guys have figured that out. If you figure out how to buy pink sheets on Fidelity, please drop a comment below and let me know how you do it, because I can buy OTC stocks that are not pink sheets, but when they're pink sheets, it does not let me do it. So I missed out on this crazy run. Basically, just look for entries on big red candles, man. It's up a ton. This is reminding me of the move that we saw on BDRM. I believe that is the ticker, correct? Yeah, it's the crazy move, over 1,000% a day. This one was not quite that big, BLSP, but we're getting up there. I mean, that's a pretty darn big move. This could definitely continue tomorrow. We could see this hit 7 cents and then come back down, but be looking for some huge red candles and then a quick bouncing opportunity. That's the only way I would be trading this particular stock. INIS, this is another one that was up. This was up 330% on the day. I believe I got, so you can see here, this was today. I took a $1 loss on this, and this was honestly 100% my bad. I saw these tons of red candles here. I dip bought here, perfect entry, but I only got in accidentally with 100 shares because that's what my automated order filling thing is. It's 100 shares, and on a stock like this, that is a $27 position. Or I guess a $20 position in this case. And I might as well not be trading if it's a $20 position, because that's a complete waste of my time, not going to have any effect on my account. So I just sold into that spike, and then I got back in, I think when maybe it was right here, still in the same spot, but I got back in with 500 shares, and then I probably should have gotten in with more, and I got spooked out because I chased the bounce a little bit, so my entry was a lot worse than my first entry, and I was too focused on that, and I ended up missing out on this, but this one was up pretty big, and again, just look for those entries after a ton of red candles. That is the best thing to do on this. If you chase into these spikes, red candles will come at some point, and you will get burned, so don't give in FOMO. That's pretty much what it comes down to. GRTS. This one is absolutely crazy. This one went ham today, and the reason for that is it turned into a massive short squeeze. Again, short squeezes is where short sellers sell shares thinking that they're hitting the top and they want to buy them back for cheaper, but instead the prices go even higher, and they don't know how high it can go, and they don't want to lose a ton, so they end up covering, and them covering is them buying back in to close their short share position. Them buying pushes the price higher, which squeezes out other shorts. And that's what happens on days like today. I personally know a trader, one of the traders who I follow, who I definitely respect a lot, Deckmar Trades. He took like a $30,000 loss right here in the 13s because he was shorting here. He took like 12,000 shares short here, and he ended up cutting a $30,000 loss here. That would have been a 6-figure loss if he'd held here. Continued squeezing in after hours, and I mean, this could see 30s. Probably going to be some type of panic pop. And then I would imagine shorts are going to look for entries again tomorrow. This is definitely up a lot, so we could see this just have like a quick pop it open maybe, and then just shorting into that. That is what I would expect. At this point, I probably would not trade it on the long side unless we can get a huge panic and some type of bounce out of that. But I mean, it's just up so much. It's going to be very tough. Shorts are going to be all over this thing in the $30 area, $32 area if it can get up there. So definitely probably would not be trying to buy breakouts on this. But that's just me personally for my risk reward. Let's see. Yeah, BILZF. Again, I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but definitely be looking for a gap up on this, either continuing to run or a gap up and a panic off of that, and then a dip buy off of that panic. That is the two things that I'll be looking for on this one. Might not be audited financials, so definitely don't believe in him 100,000%. Just use caution. You know, we know the history that he has. SENS, this is one that I talked about in my video yesterday. Again, if we look at the 5-day chart, it spiked up, held its gains pretty darn well, and you know, because of that, it spiked up past that, broke out past these highs, held that breakout, and then just continued on ripping, and is now up here. Hopefully, some of you guys made some decent money. I had one person comment that he made money on this today because of my video yesterday, which again feels good. So just be watching this because it could have continuation. This could turn into a BNGO situation and continue to run. Now, speaking of BNGO, if you guys held this stock continually because you're like, ooh, this is the greatest thing ever. This is why it's rough to hold these stocks, because they announced an offering after hours, and look what happened to the price. Went from 920, massive tank, and now we're at 820. I don't know what happens. You know, maybe it continues to tank more. Maybe there's some type of bounce, but it's just scary, man. You never know what these companies are going to do. If you don't know what an offering is or why it's bad if you're day trading, an offering is where it's a direct public offering, a DPO, and they offer more shares because they want to raise more money to take advantage of the fact that the price is up a ridiculous amount in the last month. And so they sell these shares at the higher price. And what happens when you have a bunch of sellers? You know, they might make, I don't know, 2 million new shares to sell. What do they say? They say how many? Okay, I don't know if they say exactly how many shares they're going to be selling. But say it's 2 million shares. What happens if you see a 2 million share seller selling shares? Obviously, it drives the price down. So that's why when you have these companies that announce offerings, the price just absolutely tanks as soon as they announce it. And I don't like to dip buy this because it's scary, man. It's scary. You don't know how far it can go. If they announce an offering, it can keep tanking for sure. I don't like to dip buy offerings. All right, what else do we have? DARE. This one is up in after hours. It was also up today. This was big on the watch list, and it's still trending up, so this could definitely continue. Be watching this one. If we go to, I guess, more the 1-year chart, you can see typically these spikes fail. I mean, they're typically a one and done. Pretty much all these, it spikes up, has a nice big wick, and then just comes back down. So, you know, potentially there's not going to be too much from this one. I think shorts are probably going to be aggressive because of the history of this. So definitely be conservative on this, buying breakouts, especially if the market is red tomorrow. But could definitely see some running. So it kind of just depends what it does in pre-market. You know, if we can get a nice U-shaped breakout, you know, you can enter. Say here, for example, you could enter here, risking off the low of the U. So that could be a decent play for this. So, I mean, it could definitely continue. Have it on your watch list. Not super psyched on the setup just because of the yearly chart, but definitely something to keep on your watch list. TSNP, baby. Here's where it is. Oh, my gosh. This thing is just going crazy, doing exactly as expected. It was able to break out past that resistance right there. Again, that was a big turning point. You can go back and watch my previous video, but if it rejected that level, it was very likely to continue on back down. Since it broke out past that level, it had a massive breakout. Lots of volume came in. You can see this is the highest volume day we've had in a long time. We had 146 million shares of volume today. Last time we had that many was, I don't even know, man. I mean, the last time we had that many was this day right here where it had 500,000. That was the day that it dipped down to 7.5 cents. So we haven't had this much volume since it was at 7.5 cents. And in terms of dollar volume, it's the highest in a long time because obviously, you know, if it's 3 times, 4 times more expensive, it's each volume counts for more, if that makes sense. So this could potentially break 30 cents tomorrow. If I had to guess, I would say since it closed so nice on this uptrend, I would expect to see a gap up tomorrow and then a morning panic and a bounce off of that, and maybe it continues to run or maybe it just fades. I'm not sure. What I'm going to be looking for on this is the morning panic off of a gap up. I would be fairly confident that's what happens. And again, I can't predict the future, so Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe it just fades all day. Maybe it continues to run. But I would personally look for a morning panic dip buy on this stock after a gap up. Because again, we have the investor call coming up on Friday night. And I feel like people might not want to hold through that. So just be aware of that. Be aware that's happening. You're also going to be running into some psychological resistance at that 30-cent mark. I mean, if it can break that, maybe it can test these all-time highs at, 36 cents here. Maybe. I don't know. If it can do that before Friday, I mean, it could happen, man. It could happen. We're getting a lot more volatility, a lot more volume. Look at these moves, man. I mean, it went from 21.50 all the way up to 29.15. So these are the multi-cent moves that I like seeing, because when it really doesn't do much, when there's no volatility, you can't make much money, man. It moves a cent in a day and there's a lot of choppiness. You can't make money without volatility if you're a day trader. You need volatility to make money, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. So now that it's getting more volatility, it's going to get the attention of more day traders, and the volume is probably going to continue to pick back up. So I'd be looking for a panic dip buy on this. And, honestly, I'm not sure what's going to happen on the investor call. I heard someone talk about the fact that maybe they had a billboard, their first billboard put up in Mexico. So I haven't taken the time to do the research on that yet. Definitely look that up on your own. Don't take that as a fact. I just read a YouTube comment, and you know what they say, memes, don't believe anything you read on the internet. That's what Albert Einstein said. So it's a meme, obviously, but definitely do your own research, because you never know what is true if you're just reading it in a comment section. But potentially they did that. Definitely be watching for that stock. Let's see, keep going here. PCTI. There we go. This one spiked in the after hours on not a ton of volume overall, but I mean, they have. No, that wasn't even today. Yeah, I'm not sure what the news was. They probably released some other news, but I mean, it spiked up. So if it spikes in after hours, could continue in pre-market and then continue spiking past that. We know that already. So just be watching this in pre-market and see what it does. Don't really have too much else to say on that one. AVGR. This was another one from the watch list previously, because again, if it spikes up and relatively holds those gains, typically it can keep spiking and break those highs. So this is why I do what I do. So these stocks are on your radar. I had someone in the Discord today who nailed this one. I'm not sure if he sold yet. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But he definitely was in it, and it was on his radar. So, gotta keep watching stocks that are moving, man. If they move one day, they're likely to continue moving the next day. So this is still on the watch list. If it breaks past these highs, it could continue to be in play. So just keep an eye on it. OZSC. Yeah, this one had some volatility. You can see, again, morning dip buy off that morning panic, and you had a huge bounce here, man. Just beautiful. I mean, this stock does that time and time again. We're seeing that all over the place. So just keep watching for that. That's personally what I would do. I wouldn't buy and hold this stock. That is just me personally. Oh, also something real quick. FORW. This stock technically should be moving up when TSNP moves up, but it seems like it's a little bit delayed. So if TSNP is at all-time highs, and this is not at all-time highs, something is wrong with that picture, because they have, 500 million warrants for, is it 500 million? I forget, it's been so long. Do your research, obviously. Watch some of my previous videos. I literally forgot just because it's been so long. But they have quite a few warrants for TSNP. So if TSNP, the price goes up on that, forwardly is going to be making a good amount of money. So this should be a way of kind of leveraging against TSNP, or if this is delayed, TSNP spiking, but this has not spiked yet, you can potentially look to get in this one as well and take advantage of that. That happened today. I missed out on it. I was just confused why I wasn't moving, but it just seems like it's a little bit delayed. So keep that in mind. If we have CYRN. Yeah, this one spiked in after hours and, somewhat held the gains. So watch for this break of this level in potentially pre-market tomorrow, or if it holds this gains and then starts trending up, watch for a break of that in normal market hours tomorrow. That would be my recommendation on this one. AIKI. This one spiked and then just kind of faded off. So I'm not expecting too much out of this, but we'll see what it does in pre-market. It's pretty much all you have to do. NHYF. Not sure where that one was on there. And then MITI. This is the one you guys have probably been waiting for. I just wanted to talk about kind of what happened on this one today. So if you look here, I mean, it's up a lot, man. It really is up a lot. It's up from 2.2 cents, and it went all the way up to almost 25 cents. Market makers would not let it pass 25 cents. But when you get a stock that goes on a 1,000% run with no news, remember the last news was on the 15th of December. If it goes on a crazy run like this with no news whatsoever, it's going to have pullbacks. It's going to have pullbacks. It's as simple as that. I sold some shares today. As you can see, I'm now down to 56,000 shares. And the reason for that is I think it could potentially see more of a pullback. Am I positive it will? No. That's why I only sold as many as I did. But I think it could continue to see a little bit more of a pullback before it continues on up. And again, nothing has changed about this stock for the long term because there's no news yet. They're still doing this stuff. They're still doing everything that they were going to. Nothing has changed in terms of the long term of the stock. I still believe this is going to hit dollars within the next couple of years, and this doesn't change anything. It really doesn't. So that's why I'm still holding most of my shares. I took some off the table just because I want to, at worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, if I have to get out at my entry point, at least now I have 1,000 profit on this trade, and that's just more for me because if I break my rules because there's a special stock, but then it comes back and it goes negative on me, I will never forgive myself, ever. And I think this is a special stock. I think it's worth breaking rules for, but at a certain point, I just wanted to lock in some profits so I have something in case I have to get back out of my entry. I don't expect that to happen. I think we could potentially see a dip to the 15s maybe tomorrow, 14s. I'm not positive that's going to happen. I mean, it could continue to spike, but the market makers seemed like they were holding this one down. And I'll throw a picture up so you guys can see it if I remember to do that. But the market makers are Paul, and CDEL. And these two, the CDEL is Citadel out of Chicago, and I think Paul is out of like Oklahoma, I want to say, or something like that. You can do the research on it yourself. But basically here, you can see it spiked up, but they would not let it get past 25. And eventually the buying power faded off, and they pulled out the bottom. So for those of you who don't know what a market maker is, it's their job to make sure that when people want to buy shares, they can buy shares, and when they want to sell shares, they can sell shares. That's what they do. And they can sometimes manipulate the price of the stock. And in this case, I think that's what was happening here because there was basically an invisible wall of sellers that you could not break past, and they just kept lowering and lowering that wall. And then they dropped out the bottom. Like they pulled out the bottom, so it just fell because the wall wouldn't break on the top, if that makes sense. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the stock. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're going to have a pullback when you have no news and you go up 1,000%, in the course of a couple of weeks. It's normal. I mean, it's normal. But for the intraday price action, you can see here, it couldn't break 25. And because of that, people were like, all right, it's not breaking 25, I'm selling. They panic sell. And then when the market makers were buying on the bottom, now they stop buying and it tanks. And now you have the same thing here. It tries to bounce off that. It can't. Tries to bounce off of this. Can't. Ends up tanking all the way. Tries to bounce here. Can't. Tries to bounce here. Can't. Bounce here. Can't. Tries to bounce here. Really can't. Tries to bounce here. They move up the wall a little bit. But I mean, you can see these flat lines. And that is where there is a 5,000 share Paul or CDEL on the ask. It says he has 5,000 shares, but it's a reserve order. And he will he will sell as many shares as you're willing to buy. And eventually that buying power runs out. Now here you can see there was a big spike in volume, which caused them to move it up because they're thinking as market makers, if I can sell it for a cent more, I'll be making more money when it falls back down. So that's their goal. But you can see here, there's a flat line. People are buying. It says 5,000 share sellers on the ask, but it's way more than that. We have no idea. It could be infinite, man. It could be infinite with naked shorts. So we really don't know how many shares they're selling. To me, it seemed a little bit like they were just pushing it down and pulling out the bottom, pushing it down. You can see all these flat lines where it could not get over. So because of that, it just kind of felt like a vice. Like they were just pushing that price down. And because of that, I was a little bit nervous about what tomorrow is going to bring. And that's why I think we could potentially see more of a pullback. If that happens, if we see a nice pullback, man, I might look to add because ultimately it'd be nice to have like 100,000 shares of the stock, honestly, because for the long term, again, nothing has changed. They still have all the deals. They still have the same crazy management team. Crazy good, not crazy bad. So nothing has changed about this. For me, I took some off because I don't like the price action that the market makers are causing. So we could easily break through 20 tomorrow and continue to spike back up. Could that happen? Yeah, absolutely. Which is why I'm still holding these shares. But, I think there's a chance we get a little bit more of a pullback. And if you guys missed this play the first time and you want to hold for a long time, that would be the time to buy because, there's kind of like a little gap to fill here. And if we go, actually, I want to show you guys this. TSNP, if we go look at this long term, you can see here, what happened? Right? You get big gap ups. I guess I don't need to zoom in that much. You get big gap ups, multiple gap ups in a row. You have a red candle where it kind of fails to break out. You have another red candle, and it comes back kind of to the middle of the other red candle, and it spikes up past that and continues to go even more. So MITI, honestly, I think we could see the same thing. I think we could see a red candle that comes around here to the middle of this green candle, and then after that, we see more green candles that break past both of these red candles and continue to spike on up. And it's pretty much a similar price range as well. So that's personally what I would expect based on the price action today. And again, I'm not going to be selling these shares at this point. I mean, the remainder of the shares that I have left, I do not plan on selling them unless it drops right to my entry. And if it drops at my entry, something might be fundamentally off about the trade, man. So I would like to not lose money on this trade. So I mean, I might sell my shares and do more research and then look back, because if it breaks below 10 cents, that would definitely be a red flag. And I do not expect that to happen at all, but you have to prepare for worst case scenario. And at least now, worst case scenario, I'm profitable. So that is why I sold my shares. I'm very excited to see what this continues to do. I'd like some news at some point, but I mean, there's no point in putting out news just to fluff up the company. And good companies don't fluff up the company stock price with putting out BS news. So if they have news, news will come out. And if they don't have news, there won't be news. Also, potentially I might have the option or the ability, the opportunity to interview the CEO. So if you made it this far and you're interested in MITI and you have some questions that you'd like me to answer, or like me to ask the CEO if I can interview him, definitely drop them down below in the comments, because I might get the chance. I might be able to make it happen. I know some people. So if you're interested in that, definitely drop those comments down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, remember to smash that like button. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. You know the drill. Oh, shout out Mom. You made it to the end of the video. She was getting mad at me because I wasn't shouting her out. So shout out Mom. Thank you for watching the end. And thank you to everyone else who made it this far. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.